Everything's destroyed.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Hollywood Matrimony. Thank you for joining us. Today is Memorial Day. So, thank you to all who have served.
And I didn't comb my hair.
All right. Well, I was trying to say thank you to everyone that served, but okay.
Well, I was trying to look like I've been through some things.
Okay. Oh, goodness. Anyways, let's talk about movies. Can you pull this in a little?
I guess.
Thanks.
Good.
You're not even pulling it in. You're making me do it.
I didn't know.
I asked just now, and
You
you're
said,
like, I
you
guess.
said,
That
can we
means,
pull this in?
yes, that's we.
You say we a lot, and it ends up being me, so I assume this time it could be you.
I have a dog on my feet, so I can't move. I'm going to be in this spot forever.
You also say we need to clean the kitchen, and you don't clean nothing.
No, you're going to clean the kitchen.
That's not what you say.
I don't clean kitchens. I make messes.
You don't clean anything.
I make messes.
You don't clean
That's
nothing.
what I do.
Here's the big
Anyways, welcome to this episode, special Memorial Day episode. Thank you for being with us. We're going to talk about movies. We have seen so much stuff over the past week, so we've got a lot to dig into. I haven't even started sharing my screen. I should do that.
So, can they not see us?
They can see us. I can't see my slides, which they're about to see. What is all this noise you're making?
Open this. This is
Oh
for
my
the show.
gosh. You need to stop it.
You need to stop your talking.
You need to stop.
Because I got ice on speed dial.
Oh, Lord. Why, are they going to come get you for being a
They're
hillbilly?
going to get me. They're going to come see me, and they're going to be like, you clearly belong.
You clearly don't belong in Texas. You belong somewhere else in the South.
They'll be like, you, ma'am.
They're going to put you out there where the banjo's like, and
I'd fit in there, too.
There you go. Anyways, let's talk about movies. You need to stop. You need to stop. We're going to talk about the new Apple TV Plus movie that dropped this weekend, Fountain of Youth. Who's in this movie?
Bill and Ted.
Queen Amidala, Hux.
Admiral
Hux. General whatever movie he is in.
And
so we got
either
Star
be
Wars.
Jack Ryan or
I'm still Jim from The Office.
Jim from The Office.
Or the guy that survived aliens in The Quiet Place.
John Krasinski, Natalie Portman, Domhnall Gleeson, and is Isa Gonzalez.
Gonzalez or?
I think it's Gonzalez.
Okay. I'm just making sure. Anyways, that's what this is. So obviously it looks like a group of explorers trying to find the famed Fountain of Youth. And you can see they're all over the world. They're in London. They're in Thailand. They're in Egypt.
It's essentially in the vein of things like Indiana Jones and Romancing the Stone. Even a little bit of The Mummy.
Little Mummy. What was the movie with...
National Treasure.
Yes, National Treasure is the one I kept thinking. But it also had some funny moments. A little bit like... what was the guy? And George of the Jungle?
That's The Mummy. I just said that.
No, but the other series.
Brendan Fraser?
Yes.
That's The Mummy.
Oh. Was it The Mummy where he's exploring? Yes, you're right. And there's some funny
I know
moments.
I'm right. I just told you. There were four of the movies in the franchise.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, it's set in present day, obviously, so it's not rehashing those. It's just in the vein of that idea.
It's that kind of thing.
It's got the humor. It's got all the cliche stuff you expect. I think the thing that makes this movie stand apart from a lot of the others is instead of the usual romantic relationship, this time it's a brother and sister, which I think acts better because they're constantly butting heads.
Yes.
They know each other, but we're not waiting for them to kiss. We're not waiting for them to get over whatever there is so they fall in love. It's a family dynamic. So I think
and they do have problems. They're estranged. They have not spoken in years. He comes and basically causes upheaval in her life on purpose so that she will come join him on this adventure.
Yeah.
He knows he needs her, but she doesn't realize she needs this adventure as well.
Yeah, it's a fun flick. I don't want to say my issue is it falls along a lot of the same tropes of all these movies. It's got plenty of action. It's got some adventure. It's got some funniness, some laughter, the infusions of family dynamic. But then you have the stereotypical guardian of whatever the Fountain of Youth is like you've had in all these other movies. You have the rich person that's funding it, who may have an agenda, may not. You don't know. But then you have the explorers that are there for, like, one of the other things that plays this too is he comes off more of, he wants the treasure, he wants the wealth. You know, Krasinski's character. Yes. He's not like Indiana Jones, who just, that belongs in a museum.
Right.
And some of these other people are trying to save the world or whatever. He wants this. But then it kind of involves him during the youth. But my only issue I think with was the final act.
Well, but
And
that's
it's
why
not
all this
bad.
stuff happens.
It's not bad. It's most of the movie is fairly well grounded with the stuff they do. Seems like stuff that could happen.
Yeah.
Knowing when you're dealing with something like the Fountain of Youth, there's a couple ways they can handle that, and they went a little more supernatural with it, which I was hoping they wouldn't. It doesn't hurt the movie. It's fine. You have to kind of expect that may happen.
But if they're talking about an actual fountain of youth, you gotta know.
Yeah, but they could have done something
not.
as simple as like you drink the water and it heals your wounds or makes you better or whatever, and
It makes you implode because it's full of fungi. At this
yeah,
point.
so it's like there's there was gonna be something. This one went a
something had to happen.
little further into the supernatural magic.
I liked it.
Again,
I thought it was good.
Not in a bad way. I just was hoping it would it felt like to be like a little bit different movie by the time it got there. Still works.
It still works. I thought it was a lot of fun. One of the things that I really liked and enjoyed, and because I'm open-minded, not like a lot of people, but I like similarly to, this is similar but very drastically different. What's the movie with Heretic, where we look at religion from different points of view in different time periods and different gods and beliefs and stuff. And it's interesting that there's a connection to the Fountain of Youth, which leads us to a different country, but some of the clues are in portraits of Jesus. And you're like, wait a minute, how do these two things connect?
Yeah.
So I found that very interesting from my biblical knowledge perspective, that in a way, Jesus himself spoke that he was the everlasting water of life, and that if you drink from his fountain, you would live forever. So I'm like, is this just a religious story?
And yet he still keeps making wine.
No, but then they're taking it literal. I don't know. And that's what I find so interesting about history itself and religious history, is that it's all open to interpretation and whatever your beliefs may be. But I find that to be, I'm open-minded about this.
Yeah.
So anyways, really good. Did you like it?
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
There you go.
I would enjoy it. I think the movie works more because of Portman and Krasinski's relationship.
Yes.
Than the actual thing.
And she looks classy in every scene. She's got some nice clothes. Whoever dressed her.
Who, Portman?
Yeah, she looks cute.
I hate her in that stupid sash thing.
Oh, it's so
it looks
cute.
ridiculous.
She looks cute.
But no, I think it works for that. I would love to see maybe more adventures with this group. It's not a perfect movie, but it's a fun movie.
It was a lot of fun.
It's a good streaming movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it is on Apple TV Plus now.
If you don't have Apple TV Plus, I've talked to a lot of people that don't have it.
Yeah.
I would suggest it because there's a lot of, not only some decent movies, there's some great shows on Apple TV Plus.
Yes.
With
and I think
Shrinking
you can do actually like a free 30-day trial.
Yeah.
But go in knowing like I'm gonna watch this show, and just hit it hard and watch these shows.
The Studio, Dope Thief, Shrinking,
Severance.
Is Severance Apple TV Plus?
Severance.
The
Silo, really good. I recommend that one. What's the Blind Show with Jason Momoa is really good.
That's not on that.
It is
on
that.
Apple TV Plus. Is it C?
See, it's on Apple TV.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a ton of good stuff, but you got to research.
I believe you. It's fine.
And then just go for it, or just pay for it. Just have it.
I know his new thing, Chief of War, is on Apple TV Plus.
So,
which is
I think it is.
Anyway, there's enough stuff on there that's worth checking it out.
Anyways, check it. All right, now we're going to a very drastically different movie, and one that I did not enjoy as much, and I was looking forward to this for so long. The Woman in the Yard. We missed it at theaters.
Yeah, and I want to say this is a movie that has potential.
Yes.
There is a good story there.
Yes.
The movie is dealing with loss and grief.
Yes, that part I liked.
And death.
Oh, someone mentioned Murderbot on Apple TV. Yes.
Yeah, that was what I had started yet. That's what was with Skarsgård.
Yes.
Yeah, that I heard is really good.
Yeah. Thank you.
But Woman in the Yard is one of those that it had potential to be really good, but it just doesn't work.
It's slow.
There's so many issues with it. From there's a couple of clever twists that when those hit, you're like, oh, okay.
And there's some really good creepy moments.
Yeah.
And then the moment where the lady starts pulling the thing, I'm like, oh, it got me.
My problem with it is not in 20 minutes into the movie, I'd already hated every character in this movie. Because
just let everyone die.
Well, like the young boy who is the worst, he is just a jerk for no reason. Like, yes, he's dealing with the loss of his father and this and that, but it's not consistent. Like, I get when you deal with a character that's angry. It's like, I've been angry about situations like this, but this character, 1 minute's being kind of nice to his sister and his mom, the next minute he's just like cussing him out. And then he's back to being, then he's a brat. But it's all stuff that's common sense stuff. It's not like his mom's doing anything bad to him, or even though she's a little overbearing at times too. Every character seems, with the exception of the little girl, who doesn't do anything.
Yes.
The mom and the son's dynamic, which is supposed to be a fractured relationship, clearly, neither one of them are consistent enough for you to give a crap.
Yeah.
I just was hoping this woman in the yard would show up and kill everybody.
Me too. I was just like,
or was she just going to show up and mow the lawn? I'd have been fine with that too, because I hate mowing the lawn.
Yeah, so
if a woman showed up in my yard, I would ask her, "Can you mow?"
While you're sitting here,
you can stay there as long as you want if you mow.
I liked the subtext of the movie more than the movie itself.
Yeah, yeah.
So the look at loss, depression, that sense of guilt that it's your fault that someone died. Even, the viewpoint of the older son, because he understands. I think the young daughter's an interesting character herself. She's young enough to understand my daddy died, but I don't think she's old enough to emotionally understand implications.
Didn't have him around long enough to really grasp all of it.
But then the mother and her guilt, but then also she's just sad and depressed, can't get out of bed, but you still have to take care of your kids. And so there's this whole back and forth. So I can understand the son being upset because he's having to take care of a lot.
There's a lot of little things that they're trying to portray off in like a single line throwaway.
Yeah.
And you don't always understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole thing with their power being shut off. And you don't know if the power's out, if they didn't pay the bills, if something happened, because they keep talking about calling the power company. I can't because I don't have a phone. But what does your power have to do with your phone? Because they're not the same thing.
Well, because you can't charge your phone to call them.
Okay, I get that, but you could go next door and use the phone. Or
that's what I'm saying.
If
but
you have a dial-up phone or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You could leave and go to the store and charge your phone. It's just, there's so many things that are happening that just makes it don't make sense.
But the woman's there, honey.
I know. And the woman shows up.
If there's some creepy woman, I'm not leaving my house.
And there's really no rhyme or reason of why she ever shows up, but it's there's an explanation.
There is.
But it's not really an explanation,
but
which
then
I'm okay
when
with.
It happens, it hit me like, oh, you were right. But you knew it.
I kind of figured out what was
so then I'm like, does
happening.
that ruin the movie for you when you know about 30
No,
minutes
it didn't. I was hoping that's what it was. So I thought, okay, that's an interesting twist. And then they did nothing with it. Like even the end of the movie was more like,
that's it.
Well, yeah, that's what I felt like the end of the movie. I get what they were going for. They were going for, hey, I've solved my problem for now. It's going to always be there to deal with.
Yeah.
But we're going to be ready to deal with it.
It wasn't that.
But no, but I'm saying, but they were saying like, we're going to be here to deal with it when it comes around. We'll be ready this time because we know how to deal with our things and this and that. But it never felt like it gave enough danger, I guess you will. Because it's just every time it really built to something, then it would just stop.
Yeah.
Like I was bored with this movie most of the time.
You were. I really stuck it out. It was.
I did too. I watched it to the end.
And there were some good scary moments here and there, but overall, it's just like, okay, well.
I know a lot of people praise the performance of the lady that plays the mom.
Yeah.
And for the most part, she was really good. But
she annoyed me.
There's also seemed to be a lack of urgency or care by any of these people.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of shots in some of the final act where you've got the woman in the yard and you got the mom and they're facing off or whatever's happening, and it keeps cutting to that kid's face in the ground. He's just like,
yeah.
He doesn't seem
like, why are you not doing anything?
He doesn't seem scared. He doesn't seem to understand. It feels like somebody shot him when he wasn't paying attention. And so I'm like, he should have had some kind of confusion or terror in his face. What was happening?
Maybe that was his scared face.
I don't know. Well, he needs to get another job done.
All right. Well, check it out. You can get it on Prime.
It's also on Blu-ray and DVD and all that stuff this week, I believe.
There you go.
Already.
All right. Next, we're moving to Netflix now. We've been watching all the online stuff. This is Fear Street Prom Queens. I just spit on myself. Sorry. Hopefully, I have a huge blister right here, so my whole lip is like puppy numb. Anyways, hopefully, if you watch the other Fear Street movies that have been coming out recently.
Well, they came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
And these three were fantastic.
They were good. So there was Fear
and they're
Street
all kind
Part
of
1, Part 2, Part 3. So 1994, 1978, and 1966, which is
this is
1666, which is in the 80s, but takes us back and
and these three are intertwined with each other.
Yes.
So even though the three independent stories are all independent stories that are connected, that kind of weave in and out of the time, So you really want to watch them, and you need to watch them in the order of the 94, 78,
Yes,
66.
watch it in order.
There's a reason they came out that way.
Yes.
The latest one, Prom Queen, is more on its own. It does have a connection, but if you've never seen those other ones, it won't matter. You can watch this one by itself.
It just mentions the curse and all the crazy things that have happened in their town. So it does flashbacks real quick to kind of catch you up. But
you can exist in this movie all on its own.
Correct.
And this is one of those we would not yell at you if you watch this by itself.
I might, but
we would because we think you should watch other stuff.
I think so. Like, don't go watch part 9 of something when you haven't seen the other 7 or 8. I'm just saying it kind of matters. And we know people that do that all the time. You know who you are.
They're not even watching our show.
No, because
they don't support us anymore.
They know because I've called them out. Did you not do a review for this?
No, I didn't.
Not yet. Okay.
I will tell you this one that I was kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
It's not as good as those other 3. It's not bad.
It's a good slasher movie.
It's an okay slasher movie.
They had some creative kills. There's some lot of blood and guts.
Yeah, we'll give them. They went over the top of the kills, which I love. But the movie itself, again, I was kind of bored most of this movie.
It was all right.
And I think it's because the cast. The cast just weren't not related to acting. They were fine, but the characters, nobody was really. It was a stereotypical jerk characters and outcast characters. You know, every 80s teen comedy you got were kind of here, and that's what they were going for. I get it. I just didn't care. I didn't care about anybody. I didn't care about anybody that died. I didn't care about there was a good per se the main people. It was a fine addition. I enjoyed it for what it was. I could care less. That kind of thing.
All right then, there you go.
I mean, that's kind of my feeling when I came out.
Okay. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. I thought it's a decent slasher movie. I agree. Some of the acting was meh, but it's okay. It's fine. It's just a little slasher movie. Grab some popcorn, have fun.
I thought the reveal and stuff was kind of lame. Of the reason behind everything that was going on was kind of
dumb.
Especially since you have that whole narrative set up from the first 3 films.
Yeah.
They kind of ditched it to make this one a single thing, and it's kind of like these over-the-top killer story, you know, which it felt like every other like Scream, and it kind of had a Scream vibe to it.
Yeah, it did.
There's a character at the end. It's one of the ladies that she was cracking me up because her super overacting reminded me of stuff like Black and White, like Psycho.
This lady. The mom or the dad? Yes, or the principal lady. The principal lady kept creeping me out.
Lily Taylor?
Yes. I'm like, there's something. Well, and then it's a whodunit too. So it's really good. I liked it. I thought it was fine. It's not the best movie ever, but I thought it was good. Oh my goodness.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh, that's the Fantastic Beasts chick.
Fantastic Beast lady. Yeah.
I was trying to just remember where I saw her.
Yeah, that's her. Anyways, the movie's on Netflix. Go check it out if you just want a slasher movie to watch.
It's a fun throwaway. If you like the genre,
yeah,
it's worth at least watching once just for the fun of it.
Check it out.
Just keep your expectations low. But anyway, yeah, what I was saying about her is she was doing those things where she was like, oh, you know.
It was the 80s.
I know,
I wonder if they were trying to.
But she was playing it very much like you see in like the 60s and 70s horror films, which was funny. I like it because it was so overacting and so ridiculous. You couldn't help but laugh, but I think it was on purpose.
Okay. Check it out. Prom Queen. Netflix. Go. Okay, next. We're moving along quickly. We got a lot to talk about. Okay, this movie we had wanted to see as well in the theater, missed it.
I don't think you knew much about this, though, did you?
You told me about it. I was like, oh, okay, ghost movie, sure.
This is the latest Steven Soderbergh movie, who does a lot of variety stuff. He did, I believe, but he did like Magic Mike. He did Haywire, movies like that. It's not usual from going to like horror-esque. This isn't really a scary movie at all.
It isn't a scary movie. It's just
it's a ghost movie.
Story.
Yeah, it's a ghost story, but it's not a scary movie.
Mm-hmm.
So for those avoiding it because you think it's scary, it's not. There's nothing.
It's not really
scary.
I got a little scared at the end because I knew something was going to happen, but then when it did, it wasn't exactly what I thought, and I freaked myself out because I'm like, it's going to happen, and I freaked myself out. But it's not scary.
So the what makes this movie kind of stand out? I'm very hit and miss with ghost stories because anything with hauntings and ghosts usually suck.
The
They usually
best.
just get redundant and the same old crap, but things like The Conjuring and Insidious,
This was a great movie.
that was okay. Yeah, that was a little bored me
A
too.
Ghost Story was a good
It
movie.
bored me too.
But
Not the
it's-
Casey Affleck one.
It
right?
reminded me of this. Yeah.
But what makes this movie different, which is kind of similar to A Ghost Story, is the entire movie is done from the perspective of the ghost or the entity.
The presence.
Yeah, the entity itself.
Whatever it may be.
But you don't know who the entity is, but then you think you know because they kind of tell you who it is.
Who or what. Yeah.
But is it that person that you think it is? So it's slow paced by design because you're really just watching this family live in this house. And there's a couple of pieces of dialogue that were very subtle dialogue. So if you don't pay attention to what they're saying, you won't understand how it plays out.
Yes.
Because they tell you flat out, not who it is, but they tell you exactly how this is working. So that when certain things unfold and things are revealed, you're not like going, how is that even possible? They already told you.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense. And by the end of the movie, if I hadn't stuck to the end, final act of this movie, I would have told you this movie is super boring and ignore it. But the final act of this movie brings the entire thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And it made for a great, great movie.
It's a really good movie. I really like this movie. I agree. There's times where it's slow. But then again, I'm thinking, if you're a ghost and you're there for eternity, is life slow?
Well, there's that. Remember, there's a bunch of things I kept bitching about through the whole movie about why is this person doing this? That it makes no sense. But then when it's revealed, you're like, now it makes total sense.
Yeah.
You know,
So
you had a different theory of why.
yes.
And your
Which
theory
was
makes
kind of
sense,
correct,
but at the
but-
same time, it was like, but it's not necessary, you know.
I know. But, I mean, if you're also a presence that you have no corporeal form.
No, but I'm talking about the
Yeah.
living people behavior.
Yeah.
That I was
Oh,
bitching
living
about.
people were dumb.
I know, but there was a couple things they were having that one boyfriend character do.
Yeah,
And at first made no sense to me.
But then it did, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, okay, now we get it. So yeah,
So
there's a lot happening in this movie.
yeah.
And I think it's really interesting. The dynamic just of the family is very dysfunctional. Like the mom's doing her own whatever thing, and the dad's like, I can't do this anymore. But then he's like, okay, I'm gonna stick with it. Then because of that, the kids are basically ignored. And you have one that's a little more outgoing and one that's more quiet, and something traumatic has happened that's affecting the family, and the dad wants to deal with it and the mom wants to ignore it. And it's just this weird dynamic, which I found really interesting because typically the mother wants to solve problems, but in this one it's the dad,
Yeah.
which I found really interesting. And I liked that twist in the movie. And then just the brother and the sister don't really mesh, and it's a whole thing. And at the same time, there's this presence watching everyone, and we don't really know, but then we kind of know like the reason, but if you didn't pay attention, you didn't get it, and it's a whole thing. So all that to say, it's really good. We can't tell you anything, but you've got to watch it.
Yes, I agree. It's worth checking out. Again, it's not scary, so those people
No.
are avoiding it because you don't like scary movies.
It's
It's not scary. It's compelling. It is a little slow because you just watch people's day-to-day lives, but you're seeing there's interesting things happening. It's not just like we're watching somebody drink water or read a book. I mean, stuff's going on. It's just you probably get built up thinking it's going to be more like you know. It had more of a vibe to me like Paranormal Activity in relation to the stuff that Ghost was doing.
Yeah.
I like that the visual is kind of distorted.
Yes.
Look like it's looking down a lens, like a tunnel.
Yeah, it is. I was like, what is this weird camera shot? But then you get used to it.
Yeah.
And it's
anyway,
really interesting. So
it's
check it out.
it's available now on a Blu-ray and DVD as well. I
And
believe,
you
so
can
check it out.
rent it on Prime Video.
Yes.
So check it out. It's really good. Okay, next, tell me about this. Because is this number one?
What do you mean?
Is it?
Yeah, this one, Lilo and Stitch, was number one this weekend.
Even though there's
it was originally Mission Impossible was number two, but not even close.
Okay.
Mission Impossible did very well. It opened to the best of the entire franchise, not adjusted for inflation. Adjusted for inflation, I think 2 probably would have done better. But Lilo and Stitch, fun aspect was originally supposed to be just a Disney Plus movie. It just like Moana 2 was, and it got bumped up to theatrical release. This is the second movie they bumped to theatrical release that was made insane money. This movie opened to over $100 million, which is not bad for a Disney Plus streaming film.
Yeah.
I am a fan of the original Lilo and Stitch movie. I rewatched it. I think it's fun. I think it's original. I think it's different. If you've never seen it, the movie's basic premise is an alien crash lands on Earth. This little girl takes it in thinking it's her dog. But the little girl and her sister have family issues and they're dealing with child services and they have their own problems, but it's a whole, so the whole movie is really about family, your family you're born with, your family you find, intergalactic alien invasions. There's a lot of things in the original animated that didn't make a lot of sense. One of the first being Cobra Bubbles, who is the child services person that shows up, voiced by Ving Rhames, which I was very disappointed he didn't come back to play him on live action, but it's okay. The other guy that played him did a fine job. Who you find out is like a CIA agent, but he's not a C in the cartoon. He's really child services. He's not undercover. Then it's revealed later on. In the new movie, they change it. They bring in Tia Carrere, who was the voice of the sister in the original movie.
Okay.
As a new character who's child services. But Cobra Bubbles is still there, but this time he's investigating the alien thing and teams up with her, so they still have the same thing. They don't know he's an agent. They think he's child services, whatever. So it actually makes more sense in this case. There's some other changes, and they were changes originally I thought were going to annoy me. When you bring in Jumba and Pleakley, I think his name is, they were the two aliens that were sent to Earth to catch Stitch. One being the expert on Earth, the other one was the scientist that made him. He's Jumba, I think his name is.
Jumba.
In the original movie, they stayed in alien form and they ran around in disguises and all these different things. And they look spot on to the animated style. But in the live action, they use these little things and make them look like people.
Oh, okay.
Which they play Zach Galifianakis and the other guy that are voicing them, it's them.
I see.
Makes way more sense in the live action so they can be freely moving around because
they can just be themselves.
Neither one of them are even close to human. So no disguise was going to make them look like anything that people would just not notice.
Right.
Even Stitch as a dog is about a 5% chance of figuring that out, but you could, I guess. The other thing that kind of initially was frustrating me when it happened is I think his name is Natu. I don't remember his name. There's this big shark-looking alien that was like this general whatever that comes in. He's kind of the bad guy. He's not in the movie whatsoever. They kind of changed it up and made Jumba be more of the thing that's going to happen because he does it in the movie. But to be honest, he wasn't really missed. He wasn't necessary. What they did is they expanded it and let more of the relationships between Lilo and her sister and Lilo and Stitch and the family dynamic be a little bit more prominent. That I applaud big time. That being said, this live action movie is fantastic.
Okay.
It is funny. It's heartwarming. The buying into the style of character is very much like buying into the world of Sonic.
You just got to go with it.
You just say, okay, this character is just this fuzzy, strange looking thing. You accept it. There's a lot of little chaotic stuff, but there's a lot of the moments that are very much the animated series, the visuals, the shots, all that kind of stuff. The story is the same, but they expand on certain things. They change a few little minor details. Even Jason Scott Lee, who voiced David in the original animated, has a small cameo as a shop owner thing that doesn't really do a lot, but he's there. So there were some nods to the originals.
That's good.
But as a whole, I thought it was fantastic. It was one that I didn't know if it was going to work, but I always felt like if they did this, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, of all the live action ones, this is one I could see working more than some of these other fantastical ones.
Yeah.
Because this one's kind of grounded in the real world with aliens.
Yeah.
Whereas you deal with like Little Mermaids and Beauty and the Beast, you're dealing with a lot of other things. This isn't a full-on musical either. It's not necessary. There's a few things in there, and there's some of the Elvis stuff, but not as probably much. But that's probably a copyright.
I love all the Elvis music in the cartoon.
Well, there is the Elvis music in here, but sometimes it's Elvis. Sometimes it may be a cover. That might have been a copyright issue, or just to be updated because maybe the generation that might be watching don't know the Elvis thing like it was back then as much. Either way, it's still prominent. They still talk about him. There's even in the credit sequence, you get Stitch dressed as Elvis doing the thing that's in the movie that makes more sense. It doesn't need to be in the main story.
Yeah.
So anyway, I love this movie. I thought it was fun. I thought it was hilarious. It was way better than I expected to be. I think this might be one of the better live action ones they've done. And I'm so glad it's connecting with audiences and doing really well.
There you go.
So I'll be interested to see what you think if you ever watch it. I know you don't like the chaos of it, but It's not as chaotic as I
I
think
just
as
like
you
the
may remember.
Elvis music.
I know, but it may. I don't think even the original. I don't think it's as chaotic as you might think you remember it.
Maybe so. I'll have to
Because
watch
I rewatched it, and while he's like, he is chaotic. It's just not constant.
I just remember when we went on the ride and the farts got us. So
The what?
the ride at
that little show thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We sit in the seat.
Well, I was hoping, there's a lot of them.
Super
I've been hearing a lot about them shutting down the Stitch shows, so I'm wondering with the success of this movie if they'll end up still shut down or do a whole new thing.
Maybe
anyway,
different.
Lilo Stitch is in theaters now. It's a fantastic movie. I would highly recommend watching the animated before you go to see it if you're like me and just want to compare the two.
Yep.
But if you've seen it a billion times, like I know some people have, just go have fun with it. It sticks to the trueness of the character. It is a way heavier family one, and I hope they make another one as well as it did.
There you go.
And there's like 5-6 different movies, TV shows to play off of. So
yeah, there's a little.
Anyway, Lilo Stitch is great.
All right, next, last movie for today, Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible.
And the final one is actually called Mission Possible, because every impossible mission they sent on, they somehow make it possible.
Yeah, it's always possible.
That's what they should have called this, Mission Impossible. This mission is possible.
There you go. Anyways, okay, we're on part 8. Final Reckoning. We think it is the final. I think it really is.
You never know, because now that's done so well.
Who knows?
Although I know Tom Cruise also wants to make a Les Grossman movie.
What is that?
That's the character he plays in Tropic Thunder.
Oh my gosh.
He's been wanting to make that movie forever.
Anyways.
And another discussing making a Top Gun 3 too.
So this one, you do need to see the one before.
All 7
of them. It leads directly from the last one, but it would be helpful if you've seen all the other ones, because there's characters from all the movies.
There's no helpful. You will not understand half of what's going on if you haven't seen everyone, because this movie
it goes all the way back to
the smart thing about this movie, it connects all the way to the first film and then snippets of every film after.
Yeah.
But it's really a direct sequel to the original, which is why when they did this poster, which is an exclusive poster, they put out this poster that this is the poster for the original Mission Impossible movie in '96. Where it says everything led to this. So it's doing this poster, then you flip it over, and it's the new movie IMAX poster, which I thought was a very clever connection of the two, because it very much is
from the first one all the way. But really, this one picks up exactly where part 7 left off. So please watch all it does.
Not exactly,
but I mean the same stories and the characters, and it's like, okay, now we're chasing.
Yeah, every other movie in the franchise has
started
something new, and it was a new mission, and it harkened back to a few things, but it was really a new thing for that movie. This one is still continuing.
He's chasing the guy from the last one.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, so more crazy stunts.
Yeah, I will say that I really like this movie. Okay, I think it's a great ending to the franchise. I kind of hope it ends because I think it's a good cap, despite a couple of people that didn't show up that I really wish would. There was one like the Jeremy Renner one. I was just waiting for somebody to pull a mask off, and Jeremy Renner was there, but he didn't come back. But that's okay.
He had been in his accident.
But I didn't feel like this one was as action packed as some of the other ones. That there was a lot more story, a lot more character stuff, but I think that was by design to give people the action that's here is great. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of it. The movie's almost 3 hours long, but so was the last one. And so it has plenty of action there, big stunts, the normal Tom Cruise that people want. But the movie's vibe felt different to me than the rest of the franchise. Like maybe it was, I don't know if it was the IMAX cameras, I don't know if it was just the story they were telling or the way it was shot. It felt more in line on some scenes like some Die Hard movies or things like this. Just the visual tone.
I feel like there's one thing with water, and we've seen him hold his breath before. We know he can do it for 6 minutes.
He wouldn't hold his breath this time.
No, but it's like I know he can hold his breath for 6 minutes in real life. So okay.
Fun fact: you know who beat his record?
The lady in Way of Water.
Yes.
Kate Winslet.
Yes, she did. I think she did 7.
Go, Kate Winslet. That's insane.
Knowing that.
Oh, I know, because those things make me paranoid.
I know.
So
were you stressed during that scene? Because it's a long scene.
Yes.
Or not as stressed because of he had oxygen.
I knew, but I was like, he's gonna lose his oxygen tank. He's gonna die. But then we'd watch that other movie.
I was just going to say, there's a scene in this movie that most people will probably say there's no way that's believable. He would be dead.
You got to watch our other show.
We had just watched this movie called Last Breath. And
based on true
events of something that similar happens of somebody getting stuck underwater with no oxygen for a long time, and ended up living and with no damage, no problems whatsoever.
And you're like, what? Where's that review? Is it on here? Is it in this section or
It
the
would be
other?
in the theater section.
I'm gonna.
So
you've got to watch this.
It's
movie.
one of those things that because of that movie, it made me buy into this movie a little bit more.
Because they also mention in here with the debt, but with the coldness of the water and the pressure, his body might survive for extended period of time. And I'm like, that is true.
But yeah, from seeing that, as that scene unfolds, you're like, before seeing that movie, I'd been like, okay, we got to just let it go. It's Mission Impossible. But now I'm like, no, okay, this could work.
But you are correct. That scene with the underwater, there's an underwater submarine thing. You see it in the trailer, I think. But the thing where the water starts coming up and and I'm like, I know he's in a suit. I know he's got an oxygen tank, but I'm freaking out. And then they just like jettison him out into the ocean in the middle of nowhere. And
she can't swim. That's how we know she's allowed to be in this country.
Sure. Anyways, it freaked me out. But I'm like, he can hold his breath. The plane stuff, I'm like, hasn't he been on a plane before? There was that helicopter thing in the last one.
But he hasn't done this. He jumped from plane to plane.
Well, I know. And this was one point, did you see him where he's sitting on the plane? He's like, we hope to see you at the theater. And the plane goes upside down. He's just hanging on. And that was the trailer.
This was really,
like, what?
This was all essentially like
they're doing
air show stuff.
So many promos.
You see those people on the plane, the air shows, and people just riding the wings. On. That's what I thought was clever, and it makes sense because I wondered how are they going to work in these prop type planes in a story of everything's technology.
Yeah.
But because of the what is it called?
Entity.
The entity. I said entity in the other movie too. Because of the computer thing, the entity, it makes sense to fly these because the entity can't do anything in these planes because they're all analog. So that made sense of why these were the planes they were using, and it gave them a chance to do some of these crazy stunts. I like the movie a lot. I think it's a great entry to the franchise. I think it's better than the last movie. I think of all the movies, I think part one of the Dead Reckoning has probably been my least favorite of the entire franchise. Not story wise, I just think as a whole, it's interesting because my love and dislike for this franchise has been kind of all over the place. Because I was not a fan of the original movie when it came out.
See, and I did
like it. But I was never a big Tom Cruise fan. I didn't become a Tom Cruise fan until The Last Samurai.
This one.
Prior to Last Samurai, I was kind of like, and I kind of went back and with Jerry Maguire and some of these other ones. I'm not a huge Top Gun fan. If I had to choose, Days of Thunder would be the one I'd prefer over that, which they're talking about making a sequel to.
I like the second Top Gun.
Top Gun, the second movie, made the first movie better.
Yes.
I've kind of become a Tom Cruise fan on that point. I do love these movies. I have a newfound respect for the original movie, revisiting it. I guess technically you want to say is a more mature.
I really like the first one. That's the one I always remember with the broken glass in the hallway, so you know someone's coming. I don't know why that part stuck with me.
Oh, nobody's breaking it coming, yeah.
Yeah, but I just thought that was so
and I always tell everybody with the first two movies, I love the second movie for the longest time. But revisiting them, I think that's my love of John Woo, and I love the beach fight, which now watching the beach fight, it's not as great as it was back when it came out.
Yeah.
But I'll always tell you, the first movie had a great story and not as much action. It was not the action spectacle franchise it is now. That's a Brian De Palma movie. That's not anymore. John Woo made that movie all the action, and it's kind of a crap story. It wasn't until J.J. Abrams came in on the third one, retooled it, and turned it into what it is now. And I think they've just steadily gotten better. But as a franchise as a whole, I think it is one of the best franchises that's ever existed.
Yeah.
From really consistency standpoint.
Yes. And this genre.
No, I think in general genre, because I'm just talking about consistency of the characters weaving in and out, and
I have another one that would be a good
which
franchise.
One?
Saw.
Yeah, but there's some weak ones in Saw. So even in these franchises, the ones that aren't great are still good.
Yeah.
I love all the Saw movies.
Yeah, and I like all of these movies. I do. I've watched them. We watched all of them again, and I like all of them. And I think I do think, like you said, they start building, and they've gotten better and better and crazier, a little bit to the point where I'm like, this is just too much unbelievable. I don't know, but but
the fact that he does it all too
is
makes
it driving race cars in space? I still believe that.
There's three franchises, and I was telling somebody the other day, and I think I mentioned it to you too. There's three franchises that are the exact same franchise. You have James Bond, but that's the the hoity-toity.
Yes.
I've got class and style,
Fancy.
espionage. Then you have Mission Impossible, which is the Americanized version of James Bond.
Yes.
You know, fun action characters, Americans, whatever. Then you have Fast and Furious, which is the ghetto version of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same franchise, just in different tones.
Correct.
Of how you look at them, and I love all those franchises.
I love them all. So, anyways, I really enjoyed this. I also liked the promos that they've been doing, and Tom Cruise showing up everywhere and trying to get people to go to the theater and see it in IMAX. Like, good for you.
Well, I have despite his weird Scientology behavior, and
that has not been coming up as much anymore. Which I'm glad.
No. I think he's kind of, not that he's moved on from it. No. He's still very strong, and I give him props for being that committed, whether you believe in it or not. That he's very much like anybody else. It's like a hardcore Christian or anything else. People might mock him for being a Scientologist, but he's very much, this is me. This is my thing. I defend it. I stand behind it, no matter how crazy it may be. But what I do have a big respect for him is his love and passion for filmmaking and movies and giving credit to people. And even if he's a jerk in real life, seeing these videos of him going to the theaters and eating popcorn with the people that work there and talking to them and engaging with the audience, like as you said, we saw numerous videos because he was here in probably 4 different theaters that we go to.
Yeah.
That he was there and he was just hanging out talking to people and hope you love this movie. That shows a passion for somebody that wants. I don't feel like it's just I want to make a lot of money at this movie, even though that's the business side of it.
Yeah.
It's I want y'all to love this movie. I want y'all to go and have this experience. I made this. He said it every time, we made this for y'all because he loves the cinematic experience and he's been producing movies and everything else. And you don't have to like him or not, but you can't deny the man's passion for filmmaking.
Yeah.
You know, even if he is making these spectacle genre movies more so than some kind of what you might classify as a piece of art, he's making something that's meant to be seen on the big screen. It's meant to enjoy, and he's putting his life on the line to do it. Yes, we know when he's doing this plane stuff, he's got stuff strapped to him to keep him attached to the plane.
Well, yeah.
But that's called common sense.
Yeah.
You know.
You can't have your lead actor dying.
But when he jumped his motorcycle off a cliff, all he did have was a parachute.
The parachute.
He wasn't attached to anything, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Did they not attach the motorcycle to make sure they pulled it so it didn't hit it?
Nope.
Oh, I would have done that.
Nope, they drove it right off the cliff. There's a whole video of them doing that stunt and training for it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. What is your favorite movie in the franchise?
Oh, gosh. I like the first one. That might not be as popular. I like the first one. I like the one with, what's her name?
There's a lot of women in and out of that
in Dubai. Oh gosh, hold on.
Paula Patton?
Yes.
I believe that would be not Rogue Nation. Ghost Protocol?
Ghost Protocol.
The one with Henry Cavill?
No.
I think that's Ghost Protocol.
No, he's not in that one. It's the Jeremy Renner one.
Jeremy Renner's in that one too.
It's where him and Jeremy Renner are working the first time together.
Oh, that would be Ghost
4.
Yes. Was it?
It's 4. It's Ghost Protocol. Yeah. You're thinking about 5.
Is it 5?
5 is Jeremy Renner, I think. I don't know.
Jeremy Renner's in both of those.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Rogue Nation. You're thinking Rogue Nation. I'm thinking Ghost Protocol. Number 4 is the one I like.
I'm still partial for my love of Part 2, even though I think it might be the weakest one in the franchise. But I think I really love the third one. Because it turned into like a grittier tone.
Yes.
It had Philip Seymour Hoffman, who I thought was a great villain.
So good.
There was more personal attachment to it when he brings in his wife.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the moment where they elevated the character to a bigger thing as opposed to just the mindless spy who bangs the women and saves the world up. You know, we made him more human and did stuff with him. I thought it was way better.
Yeah, you're thinking 5.
Okay, it doesn't matter now.
Okay, I'm just telling you. I didn't like that one because I didn't like him in that movie.
Who? Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
He was fantastic in that movie.
He's okay.
Me okay. He's so good in that movie.
Okay, I don't like him in this. because he needs to go do Superman or
No,
whatever.
he's
but
not Superman
be
anymore.
there.
He needs to get over that.
Okay, but I also like Rebecca Ferguson. So I'm a fan of hers. That's why I like her in the TV show right now, The Silo. You need to watch it, Apple TV Plus. But I like her throughout it. I think when was the first time that Benji gets in the field? Part 2 or part 3?
3.
I like that
No.
too. Because they're
Yeah.
like, you passed your field test. He's like, but I didn't know it was gonna be like this.
Yeah, he joined the movie at 3. Bing Rames and Tom Cruise, the only 2 people who've been in every movie.
Yeah.
And then Simon Pegg joined in 3, and he's been there ever since.
Yeah. So it's funny. Yeah. Anyways, I like all of them.
Well, you have now graduated to receive your own IMF pin.
Ooh.
You're part of the stupidest name in a group ever in Possible Mission Force.
Yeah, that's why that one time his wife was like, "Is that what? That's really what it's called?" Yes.
Like it doesn't sound stupid when they call it the IMF, but when they tell you what the IMF stands for, it's really dumb.
It's silly. I did like this last one a lot.
It's a great franchise.
It's all very good. All right, next.
Anyway, it's in theaters. Check it out.
Okay, that's it for me over here.
Oh.
It's over to you, my love.
All right. Well, coming off of holidays, there's a lot of different things. A lot of our older stuff coming out, getting 4K releases, that kind of thing. We've got Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2, which is the final part of the show. The movie Bottoms is getting another release on Blu-ray. The Jeff Bridges movie Starman is getting a 4K release.
Is that the one with Ali Sheedy? No.
No.
What am I thinking?
I think you're thinking of the robot.
The alien that comes from the sky?
No, you're thinking of Short Circuit, I think.
There was a guy that's driving in a car with her.
I thought Ali Sheedy had shit for bills.
Okay, never mind.
Ali Sheedy's in there with Johnny 5 Year Alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what you're thinking of. Maybe some other alien movie.
Okay.
Anyway, The Day the Earth Blew Up, the Looney Tunes movie, has gotten released on Blu-ray and stuff. Sin of a Woman is getting a 4K release. Wayne's World 2 is getting a 4K release. Kingpin's getting a 4K release. I think it's a super old. Not super old. This one's the Three Musketeers and the Four Musketeers, 2 films that have like Oliver Reed and Raquel Welch and Richard Chamberlain. So they're the older ones. They're getting a 4K release. That's it. There might be a few other ones. Stuff. The Alto Knights is coming out this week on Blu-ray, Blu-ray and DVD, which is the new, not new, but the what's his name? Robert De Niro kind of mobster
movie.
Films.
Yes. We'll talk about that next time.
Yeah. What is the other one? The Prosecutor is coming out this week, which is a movie with Donnie Yen, who's about this lawyer who's kicking everybody's ass. It's a great flick. I think that's pretty much it. Mickey 17 just came out last week, I think. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, coming out on the line or at theaters. So tomorrow, May 27th, on Video Demand and Digital, there's several things. The Last Gunfight. If you're interested in that, it's about these people. Underground tournament of the top assassins of the world fighting to the death. There you go. Also a movie called Stand Your Ground, Special Forces kind of versus crime lords. The Final Play, lovey-dovey kind of movie, and then Pretty Boy. Someone says suffering blindness after botched laser surgery. Oh Lord. So is abducted by the masked crazy person killing people named Pretty Boy. So we'll see what that's about. Coming out on Wednesday to Disney Plus, in case you missed it at the theaters, Captain America Brave New World. So I'll be excited to watch that one again. And coming out Friday at the theater, a movie called Bring Her Back. It's a brother and sister uncover a terrifying ritual in the secluded home of their new foster mother. This already sounds creepy and weird. The one we'll be watching, Karate Kid Legends. It's the new Karate Kid movie. It's combining kind of the original Karate Kid with Jackie Chan's Karate Kid.
Well, we thought it was a remake, but apparently it's now an offshoot.
We don't even know what's happening, so we'll find out.
I can't wait for that next one.
This one?
Yeah.
The Phoenician Scheme.
That's the new one from Wes Anderson.
Yes. As always with his movies, everybody is in this movie. There's Scarlett Johansson, Michael Cera, Benicio del Toro, Bryan Cranston, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Hanks. The trailers of what these people. I don't even know how to describe this.
They're very stylized and they're unique, quirky, weird characters. They're any Wes Anderson movie, you either like it or you don't.
Yeah, so just go watch it. It'll be interesting. Coming to Netflix, a movie called A Widow's Game. A young widow, of course, is the prime suspect in her husband's death. But wait, she didn't do it, she says.
Lord.
There's a lot of other things. Coming to Peacock, in case you missed it, Dog Man, which we really liked.
It's fun.
It's the police dog that's half dog, half man.
Yeah, it's technically a spinoff from Captain Underpants. But in Captain Underpants, that's a comic they make. So it's the movie version of the comic they make within Captain Underpants.
There you go. Coming to Apple TV Plus also on Friday, if you're a fan of U2, there's a new documentary coming out called Bono, Stories of Surrender. So has lots of music and just talking about him. Also coming to Apple TV Plus, Lulu is a rhinoceros. It's about a little Lulu who every time she sees in the mirror, she sees herself as a rhinoceros.
What?
That's what
she's. Is she a rhinoceros though?
She is not at all a rhinoceros.
That makes it scary.
Lulu is actually a dog, but she thinks she's a rhinoceros.
All right, then.
And then, last but not least, coming out on video demand, Beth and Jeremy and Steve. It's an interesting movie about a tangled love triangle. So there you go. That's what's happening at the theater or on the line. Let's tell you about some free stuff we have to give away. Bless you. Bless you.
We got copies of A Better Man, the Monkey, Robbie Williams movie.
Mm-hmm.
Got maybe, I think, one copy left of Batman Ninja. This movie, this one's fixing to disappear off the thing. So Batman Ninja versus Yakuza League. We got some copies of Alto Nights that I just mentioned. We'll talk about that movie next week. Mickey 17 that we talked about last week. Digital copies of Snow White, which we'll talk about next week, as well as Dirty Harry on 4K. I don't know why that was hard for me to say, but I said it.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.